Okay, so I did my project on the importance of exponential equations in medicine. So it helps with outbreaks, tracking something as unpredictable as diseases. They would need exponential equations to be able to know how they can track the spread, track deaths, and what precautions they needed to take. One example of this was Ebola. The exponential equations helped with tracking deaths. They were able to track how quickly people were dying because people were dying very quickly, and also able to see if any of the preventative methods that they chose were working by tracking how many people were dying and if there was lessening. Another example of this was the influenza outbreak. It was used to track the usefulness of treatments, so vaccines, also to track if people had antibodies that made them almost immune to the disease. And because of the exponential equations, they were able to consider it a very small threat that wasn't very harmful or anything that they needed to worry about because people weren't getting infected or dying nearly as much as like the Ebola outbreak. It can also help with tracking multiplication of viruses because different viruses have different cycles of maturation. May take hours or may take days, and if a certain virus is a type, the doctors will be able to tell using exponential equations how long they have until the disease is affecting a person, or how quickly they have to act, and if it's too late. Another example is malaria. This was used to track the mosquitoes. It was used to track how they were attracted to different people, their skin types, and it would let them to have to do mosquito control because the exponential equation was showing that it was getting out of hand. How many were how many people were at risk of getting the disease from the mosquitoes. Another example is COVID. For this, the exponential equations were used to track if vaccines were working and precautions such as masks were working, social distancing, and they were able to see which people were most at risk for catching the disease, which were older people, and they were able to use that exponential equation to see that older people were getting it at a much higher rate than younger people were or young adults were. So in conclusion, exponential equations are very important for doctors because without them, they wouldn't really know what to do. They wouldn't have been able to really help humanity for these outbreaks that happened, and some were very dangerous, and then some were not as much.